Alrighty, this is Sports Buds TV. My name is Search So Sports. And as always, I have come here to chew bubblegum and talk sports. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Alright, thank you all for watching. If you can like, comment, subscribe, that's great. And remember, you can find us on social media at Sports Buds TV. Let's get started. A lot going on in the sports world. I know for my teams up here, there's quite a bit going on. Yankees continue their winning ways. We'll see where they end up. There's about a month and a half or so left in the season. They're making that playoff push, holding on to that wild card spot. And the Los Angeles Rams, big news, right? With that trade they pulled off with the New England Patriots, bringing over Sony Michel, sending over some draft picks. That news earlier, a couple weeks ago, before the preseason actually kicked off, with Cam Akers, him being out with that Achilles injury. I hope he gets well soon, but definitely the Rams needed the help, and I think they got that in Sony Michel. So, great job there by the organization, the front office, and we will see here soon. I mean, season starts, in about 2 weeks time or so, and getting ready to get things kicked off here. Switching gears, but staying on the same topic of football, right? Fantasy football. Season's about to start. What does that mean? A lot of us, if we have not already, are getting ready to draft for our fantasy football leagues. What I have been doing these last few videos is giving you my must-have, my top 5 must-have. I've given you running backs. I've given you wide receivers. So those are must-have players I am projecting that you want to have on your team this upcoming season, right, for fantasy football. For this video, I was thinking I'd come up with a list of 5 QBs, a list of 5 tight ends, and then bring them to you, decide which one, right? Then I started looking at it, and I didn't want to come up with a list just for the sake of it. I'll be honest, I can't think of 5 must-have QBs or 5 must-have tight ends. What I was able to come up with is mix the position, right, the QB tight end position, and come up with a list of 5 must-have players there. So I'm going to share that list with you at the end of this video, and I'm going to ask if you're interested in those top 5 must-have running backs and wide receivers. Check out my first 2 videos, my earlier videos on my channel here. So let's jump into it. What I do want to talk about first is boxing, right? A lot happened there with that boxing, the main event that we had on Saturday, Manny Pacquiao taking on Yordenis Ugas. We initially were expecting to see Earl Spence. We were going to see Ugas in his own fight there on the same night, and it ended up being where their opponents, Earl Spence, the fight, with him and Manny wasn't going to be able to happen. Earl was not going to be cleared, and then we found out that Ugas's opponent also was not going to be cleared. So the date was there for Yordenis Ugas and Manny Pacquiao to find themselves in that ring and actually settle who is the WBA champion, which there was that, situation where you did have Manny as a champion. A year and a half or so went by with everything going on in the world, and they, took the belt essentially from him and placed it on Ugas. Some people were saying Ugas wasn't really a champion. He was, given the belt, did not earn it, whatever have you. Well, you can't say that anymore. After Saturday night, and, not something we predicted, I'm sure not many predicted, Yordenis Ugas proved not only to us here, but to everyone else, right, that he is indeed, and still is, might I say, the WBA champion. Manny Pacquiao, hats off to you, sir, and your legendary, iconic career. But on that night, hats off to Yordenis Ugas. You went away with the belt. You went away as a champion, and everything that comes along with, beating Manny Pacquiao in what could be his last ever fight. Am I saying that's for sure? No, of course not, but who knows? Now, where that leaves us in the welterweight division is 3 kings, if you will, right? 3 for sure champions in Yordenis Ugas, Terrence Bud Crawford, and of course Earl Spence Jr. Will they all sort it out so that we can get an undisputed champion? That's left yet to be determined, but something that we can certainly look forward to. For now, I want to, we weren't right. We took Manny Pacquiao. I didn't, have any issues taking Manny Pacquiao. I took him with full confidence, just like the week before we predicted those 3 main fights and actually, got those predictions all correct, right? All 3 of them came back with their wins, and we came back with correct predictions. But last week that wasn't the case, right? Yordenis Ugas earned it, and as far as this week, we have another main event in boxing. That is going to take place between Tyron Woodley and, of course, Jake Paul. Now, people may have mixed feelings about Jake Paul, but I actually think he's good for the sport. I think he's good for a new set of eyes, younger eyes, getting their eyes on the sport, and, who knows, maybe falling in love with the sport. Doesn't mean that they have to be fanatics of him, but, they may be younger fans that may want somebody and get more into the sport that may pose more of a challenge, right, than the prior fighters that Jake Paul has faced before. Either way, I'm going to give you a prediction. I'm going to say Jake Paul pulls it out. Tyron Woodley, what can't you say about the guy in the UFC? He's a Hall of Famer for sure. But on Sunday night for this main event, I do believe that Jake Paul's ready. The years that he's put in to just, perfect the craft and where he's gotten to, I think he's going to prove to not only himself, but, many eyes that are going to be glued to the TV set, to wherever you're streaming on your device, right, and watching him prove what it is that he's capable of. So, looking forward to it. Will we be right like we were 2 weeks ago? Will we be wrong like we were last week? Let's find out. Again, I want to keep the video short, so what I'm going to finish up with today is the sneak peek that I gave you all earlier. I talked to you about must-have fantasy football players. So for this video, I'm going to give you my top 5 must-have tight end / QBs, and I'm going to go ahead and just start off in no particular order. You got to have Patrick Mahomes. If you can walk away with that, man, you're going to walk away happy, I'd say, in fantasy football. Also, you say the same for Aaron Rodgers, right? And this may possibly be the last dance. That's yet to be determined, but I'm sure he's going to go out with the bang if it is. So definitely somebody that you'll be happy walking away from, from your draft, knowing that you have him on your team. That's going to wrap up my QB side of this video, but I'm going to just now dive into the tight end side and give you Travis Kelce, the monster that he is. I'm going to give you George Kittle, the beast that he is on the field. And then to wrap things up with my number 5 spot, of course, it's in no particular order. I feel like we have a hybrid of the two in Darren Waller, right? So those are your top 5 for this video. If you can walk away with these players, I think you're going to be happy in fantasy football. And if you were lucky enough to get some of the prior players that I talked about on those earlier videos, then all the more reason why you would be happy. Thank you all for watching. This has been Sports Buds TV. I have been Serge So Sports, and remember to follow us, like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Y'all be good.